I've always been fascinated by the moon. But what if I told you it might not be what we think it is? Yeah, I know, it sounds crazy, but hear me out. We're about to dive into one of the wildest theories out there. The idea that our moon might actually be hollow. And get this, it's potentially even an ancient spaceship. Now, before you click away thinking I've lost my marbles, let's take a journey through this cosmic mystery together. Buckle up, because this is going to be a wild ride. Okay, so let's start with the basics. The hollow moon theory isn't exactly new. It's been floating around for decades, captivating conspiracy theorists and some fringe scientists alike. While it might sound like something straight out of a sci-fi novel, there are some genuinely intriguing aspects to this idea that make you go, Now, I know what you're thinking. Have you been watching too many late-night alien documentaries? And maybe I have, but stick with me here. The concept of a hollow moon opens up a whole can of cosmic worms. If it's hollow, who made it? Why is it there? And most importantly, what does it mean for us Earthlings? Let's break this down and look at some facts about our lunar buddy that might make you raise an eyebrow. First off, the moon is huge compared to Earth. I mean, really huge for a natural satellite. Most moons in our solar system are tiny compared to their parent planets, but ours? It's about a quarter the size of Earth. That's like, a quarter the size of Earth. That's like, uh, uh, like, having a basketball next to a beach ball. It just looks off. But wait, there's more. The moon's density and composition are also pretty weird. It's way less dense than Earth, and seismometers left by Apollo missions have picked up some strange vibrations. Some people argue that these characteristics could be explained if the moon were hollow, or at least partially hollow. Now, I'm not saying it definitely is, but you've got to admit, it's an interesting thought experiment. Now, this is where it gets interesting. You'd think a solid rock wouldn't ring like a bell when hit, right? Well, during the Apollo missions, astronauts conducted experiments where they deliberately crashed stuff into the moon. And guess what? It rang like a bell for hours afterward. I'm not kidding. Hours. Scientists were scratching their heads over this one. And it's not just human-made impacts that cause this. The moon experiences its own quakes called moonquakes. These can last for up to an hour, which is way longer than earthquakes. Some folks argue that this behavior is more consistent with a hollow structure than a solid one. It's like, you know, the difference between hitting a solid ball and a hollow one. The hollow one's going to vibrate a lot more. So, believe it or not, the idea of a hollow moon isn't just a modern conspiracy theory. There are actually ancient myths and legends that hint at something unusual about our celestial neighbor. Galileo noticed that the moon's craters seemed too shallow, given their width. Even Newton calculated that the moon's density was much lower than Earth's. Now, they weren't saying it was hollow, but these observations do make you wonder, don't they? Fast forward to the space age, and things get even more intriguing. During the Apollo missions, astronauts took some photos that conspiracy theorists love to analyze. There are claims of strange structures, unnatural-looking towers, and even what some people swear are signs of mining operations. Now, NASA has explanations for all of these, but you know how it is. Once an idea takes hold, it's hard to shake. During Apollo 12, they crashed the lunar module into the moon. The impact caused the moon to vibrate for over an hour, almost as if the moon was, well, hollow. Okay, here's where we really dive into the deep end of the pool. Some proponents of the hollow moon theory take it a step further. They suggest that not only is the moon hollow, but it might actually be an artificial construct. In other words, a gigantic spaceship. I know. It sounds bonkers, but let's entertain the idea for a moment. What if some ancient alien civilization parked this thing in our orbit millions of years ago. Now, it's important to remember that while these theories are fascinating, they're not accepted by mainstream science. There are plenty of explanations for the moon's characteristics that don't involve it being a hollow spaceship. The moon's size, density, and seismic behavior can all be explained by its formation and composition. But that doesn't mean we should stop asking questions or exploring possibilities. After all, that's what science is all about, right? So, there you have it. The hollow moon theory in all its wild, speculative glory. Is it likely? Probably not. Is it fun to think about? Absolutely. The beauty of science is that it encourages us to question, to wonder, and to explore. Even if the hollow moon theory turns out to be nothing more than an imaginative idea, it reminds us to keep looking up, keep asking questions, and never stop being curious about the mysteries that surround us. Who knows? Maybe one day we'll discover that truth really is stranger than fiction. Until then, keep wondering, keep exploring, and never stop looking at the moon with a sense of awe and mystery.